The Democrats are really pushing for the elimination of the Electoral College. So I wanted to go over what they're proposing and then explain also how the Electoral College works. Now, the popular vote, which is the way that they want elections to be decided, they say that it is the most fair representation and it gives the most equal value to the vote of every citizen. The truth is, it does not reflect the wishes of all American citizens. It only reflects those of the people who voted, okay? Unless you're willing to make it mandatory that every single voting age citizen has to vote, you are not going to have the wishes of every American citizen expressed at the ballot box. So it really only represents the wishes of those who voted, and it ignores the wishes of those who did not vote. Didn't vote because they couldn't, didn't vote because it wouldn't make a difference. They thought it wouldn't make a difference. For instance, just to show you how much of a widespread you have in voter turnout around the country, you take a state like Minnesota, which is a blue state, and in 2016 they had a voter turnout of 75%. By contrast, you have Texas, which is a very red state, and they had 52% voter turnout. Does that mean that Republicans in Texas were actually wanting to vote for Hillary or no, it's actually unlikely. They probably felt that it was not going to make a difference and they didn't go vote. Whatever the reasons are, that 75 of Minnesota versus 52% turnout in Texas, that in itself ensures that the wishes of all American citizens are not being reflected in the popular vote. The Electoral College, by contrast, is a much more fair way of determining elections. Why? It uses census information. It takes the population by state, and according to the size of the population, that's how many electoral votes are allocated to that state. So, for example, you have California, which in 2010, that was the last census, had 37 million people in the census, which, by the way, includes illegals. More on that later. So they were assigned 55 electoral votes. By contrast, you have Missouri, which is one of those flyover states. It's red. And with a population of 6 million, they only have 10 electoral votes. So the whole notion that the flyover states or the less populated states, actually their votes carry more weight than the coastal folk, the New York folk, the California folk, is a complete fallacy. Now, the Dems know that the Electoral College is not going to be eliminated. So what do? The next best thing is actually try to manipulate it, manipulate the results. So how do they do this? Knowing that it is based on population, and the population as of the last census includes non-citizens. So right now they're fighting the question on the census for the next census coming up. They're fighting the question of citizenship, where the person being interviewed has to respond whether or not they're a citizen. They're also increasing the number of sanctuary cities, and these are magnets for illegals. They don't want a federally issued voter ID like Mexico does. Okay, they claim all sorts of things, from it being, prejudicial, racist, voter suppression, you name it. They don't want people to have to prove their citizenship when they go vote. They also are against any barriers that would prevent non-citizens from coming into the country. That's why they're against the wall now, and they were not against the wall just a few years ago. So make no mistake, what they're doing is they're manipulating the system. This is not about ensuring that every American's wishes are expressed equally and fairly. This is about power, and this is about them finding ways to make sure that they achieve it.